Have you ever felt someone drain you slowly, as if they were feeding on your attention without you realizing it? Have you noticed yourself walking away from a conversation feeling heavier than before, wondering what you just gave up? What if some people don't connect with you so much as they quietly take one emotional drop at a time? There's a particular kind of presence that leeches energy without asking, one that leaves you hollow long after they've moved on. Emotional leeching is rarely obvious. It hides in the flow of casual talks and friendly catch-ups, lurking in those subtle dynamics where one person feels heard while the other feels used. The way these people drain you is rarely loud or aggressive. Instead, it feels like an unspoken tax on your patience, one you pay without ever signing up. The roots of this behavior often run deeper than most assume. Many who emotionally leech learned this pattern long ago, in childhoods shaped by neglect or inconsistency. Maybe they never learned to soothe themselves, so they look outward for relief, drawing attention as a way to manage their own turbulence. Some research into attachment styles even suggests that those who were overlooked as children can grow up searching endlessly for validation, often without realizing the cost they impose. It is not always malicious, but it is habitual, and like any unchecked habit, it can grow into a quiet, exhausting need. Have you ever noticed someone who can't seem to let a conversation end? This is the first sign. They stretch every topic just a little too far. It's if they can sense when your attention begins to drift, and they need to catch you again. The behavior often looks innocent enough. They repeat details you already know, circle back to minor complaints, or offer one more question right as you signal you need to go. Psychologists recognize this as a kind of conversational anchoring. They hold you in place emotionally, so they, Dante, have to face their own silence. You might leave feeling vaguely guilty for wanting to go, even though they were the one who kept you there. And that guilt is exactly what they're counting on. And then there are the people who seem to have an endless reservoir of problems, none of them urgent enough to warrant action, all of them urgent enough to demand sympathy. Every conversation loops back to their struggles, their hardships, their dissatisfaction with a world they refuse to change. You offer solutions, they wave them off. You offer comfort, they absorb it. It is an unspoken game with no endpoint, one that wears you down slowly. This is sometimes linked to a pattern psychologists call learned helplessness, where a person's repeated exposure to negative experiences trains them to believe they have no power over their own life. But the darker truth is that they often do have power. They simply prefer to borrow yours. Have you ever wondered why some people never seem to ask you anything about yourself? They nod politely when you speak, then quickly pivot the topic back to their own thoughts. This is one of the most telling traits of emotional leeching, a subtle disregard for your inner world. It's not that they intend to dismiss you. They simply can't bear to give up the spotlight. In their view, your feelings are either irrelevant or a brief intermission before they can speak again. Studies on conversational narcissism describe this as a way of making sure all social energy stays trained on them. They extract attention like a resource and leave you emptier for having offered it. The real punchline is that they may hardly realize they're doing it at all. And perhaps most draining of all is the way some people constantly look to you for reassurance they could easily give themselves. They need you to repeat your support, your compliments, your encouragement, often with increasing frequency. Even when you mean every word, it never quite feels like enough. This dynamic is common in those with fragile self-worth. People who never learn to regulate their own emotions and so lean on anyone nearby to do it for them. Each of these exchanges chips away at your energy, leaving you feeling obligated to hold them together. And the darker reality is that they will rarely acknowledge what they take. Have you ever paused to ask yourself why you feel so tired after these interactions? That exhaustion is telling you something? Emotional leeching thrives on people who feel too polite or too guilty to draw a line. But recognizing these patterns is the first and most powerful way to reclaim your energy. It doesn't require a grand confrontation, just a quiet awareness that you can step back. You can listen without losing yourself. You can care without carrying someone who refuses to stand on their own. And so the shift begins with permission. Permission to say less. Permission to let silences grow without rushing to fill them. Permission to excuse yourself before a conversation stretches into an hour you'll regret. These small boundaries do not make you cold, they make you whole. When you honor your own limits, you make it clear. to them and to yourself, that your attention is a gift, not a given. That kind of self-respect is a gentle but immovable boundary that emotional leeching cannot easily breach. And as you practice this, you may find that the people who truly appreciate you will respect these boundaries too. The ones who feed on your energy may drift away, but their absence will feel lighter than their company ever did. You deserve connections that replenish you as much as they require of you. You deserve conversations that leave you feeling seen, not siphoned. So the next time someone leans a little too hard into your kindness, remember, you do not owe them your vitality. The most caring thing you can do is to protect it. Every quiet no, every graceful withdrawal, is a way of reclaiming the energy that was always yours to begin with. And you may discover that the more fiercely you guard your own light, the more it shines. Protect your energy. Stay curious. Subscribe for more from Beneath the Cortex.